Señor, abre mis labios y mi boca proclamará tus alabanzas. Lord, open my lips and my mouth shall proclaim your praise. Amen. I'd like to see a show of hands of all of you who do not have a watch. No watches. Very good. Those of you who do not have watches, do you have clocks? Cell phones. There was a very popular band in my youth called Chicago, and they had this wonderful song called Does Anybody Really Know What Time It Is? Does anybody really care? Time is all around us. We mark time in various ways and by various methods. As I alluded last week, was the last, the end of the year. And so while it's not chronologically the new year, it is liturgically the new year. So today, the first Sunday in Advent, begins our new cycle, cycle A. And when you open the gospel book, our gospel book is divided into A, B, C, and D. It is always a little startling to open the book to the very first page. It only happens once every 3 years. So today we open the book to the very first page, the very first Sunday of Advent. So Happy New Year. It is the new year in our liturgical year. And while we are surrounded by time in various ways, and some of us not only have watches and clocks and cell phones, we have timers, we have reminders. My cell phone, when I have it on me, my cell phone beeps and blurps and chimes and does all kinds of things, because without those reminders, without those timely reminders, I can't remember what I'm supposed to do next. Advent is a season that helps us to remember where we are in our life with Christ. And this is a season of preparation, a season of joyful expectation, a season of somebody's coming. Somebody is coming, and we are to prepare for this person's coming. And we have our 4 candles signifying another way of telling the time. We've got 1 candle down, 3 more to go. You notice that one of the candles is pink. That's another way of telling time. The pink candle is always the 3rd Sunday in Advent. And it's kind of like a flashing light that says, okay, it's not quite time, but it's almost there. It's kind of like the flashing light on a traffic signal that's warning you that it's about to turn red, and it starts flashing. Well, that's what the pink one does. The pink one says, okay, we're almost here. There's 1 candle, there's 2 candles. Now the 3rd candle, we're almost there. And then we've got the 4th candle. Now, we do all of this because it is so important for us to understand being ready, being prepared for this coming, this eventual arrival of this person that we are one of the hymns that we're singing is Come Thou Long Expected Jesus. Now, in the lesson for today, Jesus is saying no one knows the day or the hour. There's this sense of that you should always be ready. Kind of how the Boy Scouts say, be prepared. You should always be ready. But what does it mean to be prepared to receive the Christ child? Every year, we have this time to prepare. So I've told this story before, but it bears repeating. I got this story from the Bishop of New York, who was friends with this amazing couple. They were both very, very successful in their fields, in their different fields. I believe she was an interior designer, and he was connected to theater in some way. But they were both very successful, very, very prosperous. Just, one of those couples that you read about in the New Yorker magazine, having soirees and always in the best of company and giving the nicest parties and so forth. And their apartment, according to the bishop, their apartment was this stunning high on one of the skyscrapers of New York. It was just this stunning place. Everything was white. It was white or glass or chrome, and white leather and white carpet, and the stairway was this floating staircase of glass steps leading up to the bedroom area. You couldn't really tell the cables that were holding the steps together, and the steps appeared to just be sort of floating in the air. It's just this gorgeous, fabulous apartment. Well, the one thing that this couple didn't have was a baby, and they wanted a baby very, very much. And they tried, and they just were not able to have a child. And so they filled their life with all these parties and society and whatnot. Well, unexpectedly, finally, they were able to get pregnant. And so they were wild with joy, and they converted their gorgeous, fabulous apartment into this child safety zone. The edges of the glass and chrome table now had these ugly rubber edges on them, and the stairs had wooden plaques behind, so the child couldn't fall through. And so, of course, the staircase looked horrible, and they put Afghan throws all over the sofas and stuff, so that the child would be more comfortable than on the leather. They made all of these changes, and their friends were horrified. They were just horrified. I mean, they had changed from this chic, hip couple into these worried parents. But they were so happy that they willingly changed everything about their lives in expectation of this child. There's a commercial, I don't know if it's Johnson & Johnson or one of those companies, and it says, "Having a baby changes everything." And those of us who have raised children, we know how true that is. Having a child changes everything. And this couple was willing to change everything for this baby. And so here we are. We've got some time to prepare, to change our ways in preparation for the arrival of this baby. How much are we willing to give up? Do we dare put the rubber, corners on our glass and chrome table? Do we make drastic changes in our lives, being willing to do whatever it takes to welcome that person into our lives, into our hearts? It's a metaphor. Are we willing to make that kind of a radical change in preparation to receive the Christ child? So what time is it? It's time to prepare, time to get our hearts ready to receive this great gift. Time to see if we can make these changes inside of our hearts so that we can truly appreciate what it is that God did by having Jesus be born into our midst. Amen.